So you grew up in South Central LA.
Yes, I did. Born and raised.
What was it like growing up there for you?
It was rough. I remember it being really rough. But I think one of the biggest things is it was normal to me. It was normal until I actually moved out of South Central Los Angeles. And I started to realize that, wow, everything we were going through is not normal. You know, we didn't have quality jobs. It was a lot of poverty. Our education was still poor. We didn't have as much homelessness, but we had a lot of gang violence, a lot of domestic violence. And that's what I grew up in. And I didn't realize that until, our house was shot up in a drive-by, and then my mom moved us to Texas, and it was like a whole different lifestyle. We got trees out here, you got all this land, I can go fishing, and you got nice jobs, big houses, really big schools and everything. And you know, now looking back on it, it was hard.
Were your father there with you in the home?
For some time he was, then him and my mom got divorced whenever I was young. I was real little when they got divorced.
Are you close to him?
My dad?
Yeah.
You know what? When it comes to a personal relationship, we don't get along so good personally. We get along better when it comes to doing business together.
Oh, okay.
I think part of the reason why is I was in the military 13 and a half years, and so my outlook on things is totally different from his outlook on things. Mine is more of, you know, from a mindset of a person who's been in the military. So I don't see things the same way as he does, and he's a businessman, and he hasn't, he wasn't there as a father figure for me. My grandfather was, and so, you know, we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things.
So you're close to your grandfather?
Yeah, I used to be, but he's dead.
Oh, you're expired, okay. What made you decide, what branch were you in of the military?
I was in the U.S. Navy.
Really? So don't they have to swim?
You have to swim. You have to
and
swim.
you know how to swim?
Pretty good at it, too.
And you did it while growing up?
No, I didn't.
You just learned once you went there?
You know what? I tried to learn how to swim. That's when Jesse Owens Park used to do the free lunches in the summertime, and so I tried to learn how to swim, but I didn't actually learn how to swim until I joined the military.
Right on, man. And so you said that the education was poor for you while growing up in your area. What was poor about it?
The curriculum, Common Core. We didn't have any like CTE or STEM classes, anything that kids will be where you can learn like actual trades instead of, you know, going to college and getting prepped for college. So that the education was outdated. You know, every year we're always finding out new things about our history, but they never update the books. You find out new things about science, technology, and new advancements, but they never update the books. And so right now, our kids are learning education from the 60s, and we're in 2020, and the majority of the stuff that we're learning outside of math doesn't really apply anymore.
I didn't know that Common Core was being taught in the school while you were growing up. I thought it just started over the last couple of years.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
That's amazing. How is LA, South Central LA different now than it was when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In what way?
We have a lot of homeless people on the streets. It's homeless people everywhere. It's so many homeless people. I mean, like, you cannot go down the street without seeing homeless people, homeless encampments, two-story tents, and trash all over the place. It wasn't that much homeless people back in the days. It was a lot of violence. So now you mix gang violence, homelessness, no job, poor schools, lack of economic development, and that's what South Central looks like right now.
That's amazing. What is the primary cause of violence?
Lack of opportunities.
Lack of opportunity? Does it have anything to do with growing up in a one-parent home?
It could, but I mean, there's a lot of things that contributes to parents being pulled out the house. Like, you know, the mothers on government assistance. If you can't be on government assistance, have a man in the house. No quality jobs. A woman doesn't want a man who doesn't work, so the dad end up getting put out the house. It's tons of things. The lack of economic development. You know, you don't have development or opportunities in our communities, then people move elsewhere, and it causes a lot of problem. No money, things of that nature. So it's a lot of things that contribute to not having a family.
What made men and women decide to leave the house? Why would the man decide to leave the home so that his wife and children be on government? Why would he make that decision?
No jobs.
And why don't black men create jobs? When I was growing up, I grew up in Alabama on a plantation. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Under the Jim Crow laws, right? But I grew up with seeing black men start businesses, and it was just in me to do it. You know, I was taught to work. And when I moved out here at 18, I started my own business after a while. I worked for a while, then I started because it was in me. And I can't imagine a man not being able to start a business.
Yeah.
Why? What's wrong with the black men that in South Central that they won't start a business?
I think that one of the biggest issues that we have right now is lack of quality leadership, right? So California, Los Angeles has been Democrat for a very long time.
Yeah.
The Democrats have been cultured and conditioned to believe that nothing good is for you.
Right.
I mean, I'm running against Maxine Waters, and I've been here on TV since the 90s talk about the Republicans is for rich folks, they don't like you, you poor, you're not this. And so subconsciously you start to believe these things. Well, they're rich, I'm poor. That's not for me. So the Bible says, so as a man thinketh, so he is. So if you constantly every day talking about I'm poor, good things aren't for me, then guess what? That's the lifestyle that you're manifesting. So we need leaders that are going to build our people up, create opportunities, create the type of financial literacy that we need so we can be able to build these businesses.
If fathers were already doing that and they were an example for the children, would Maxine Waters be able to deceive them in that way?
I don't think so. Absolutely not.
So we need the fathers to be more involved too, right?
But Maxine Waters influences women because she attacked their emotions by telling them to call her auntie. Maxine Waters is not my auntie.
I can think of many words to call her. Auntie is not one.
I agree with that.
I remember we were at Christian Center once. They were giving, the Democrats were running for something, and we went there to protest against them. And Maxine Waters stood up and said that the Republicans wanted to take down the projects in South Central and all those areas. She named all join down projects. And she said, I'm not going to let them take down the projects.
Yeah.
And not only am I not going to let them take it down, I'm going to build some more projects for you.
Exactly.
And she lived in a $4 million home somewhere.
Yeah.
And people applauded and praised the Lord for it. What's wrong with the people?
You know what that sounds like to me?
What?
That sounds like Maxine Waters saying, I want you to stay in the projects, I want you to stay poor, and I'm not going to let them remove the projects and put houses there because you deserve to be poor.
Right. What would make, if you ever want that soundbite, we can give it to you. So you can play it during your campaign.
Oh, that'll work.
Those who would like to get rid of all of the public housing, but they don't tell us where the people are going to go. As far as I'm concerned, they will not touch Dixon Gardens, Jordantown, Imperial Courts, Austin, the railroads, none of our public housing, because we're not going to have them torn down, and people not know where they're going to live. We need money placed into the development of housing in this country, and one of the things we're going for is a national housing trust fund to build more housing, rental units, and residents. So we're doing this kind of work despite the opposition.
What made the adult people fall for it, though?
Because they live in the projects.
And they just believe that kind of stuff, huh?
Well, when you're getting government assistance, you're getting food stamps, when you're getting, they had the food stamp dollars. Remember that? The food stamp dollars back then, you're getting those things and they give you cheap housing and they make you think that you're doing something great with your life. Then of course you're going to applaud for that because nobody knows what outside of South Central or outside of poverty looks like.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. I have met people over in South Central Los Angeles who have never come to the West Side.
Exactly.
And it's like going to another state somewhere that's right across the road.
Yeah.
I was surprised to find that.
Yeah.